Morning. Good morning, Rotarians and guests. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Hudson. I'm Ron Strobel, the Sergeant at Arms. Our invocation this morning.
All we have to do is look around the world and in within our country. And growing up in the Catholic tradition, I went to a Catholic university. One of my favorite instructors was Father Eberhardy. And he always told me when you don't know what to do and you can't find your inner self or your peace, say the prayer of Saint Francis. So we'll join me in that today. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it's in dying that we are born to eternal life. Amen.
Thank you. And to lead us in the pledge and the four-way test, Madeline Lapidi Carino.
Everyone, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, and we'll do the four-way test. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you. And it's wonderful to see you with your new name badge on. Boy, we get to see a lot of them this morning.
I know.
Thanks, Chris.
All right. Okay, everyone. So if you please join me in song this morning, we're going to sing My Country 'Tis of Thee, AKA America. My country 'tis of thee, sweet and of liberty, of thee I sing. Let died, land of pilgrim's pride, of every mountainside, let freedom ring. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. And we do have a guest, at least she filled out a card, but what we've got to do is get that transfer order in so that she becomes a member of our club. Suzanne Morgan, good to see you. And the guy next to her that will never tell me what, oh yeah, that's Phil Tobin. It's good to see you every week. And our president, Terry Bortnick.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, Rotarians. Good morning, guests. Good to see all your shining faces today. For this month, we are collecting for the Hudson Food Bank. And remember, what they really need are things such as dried milk products, things that they can keep on the shelf. Milk products, vegetable, canola oil, dishwashing liquid. Those are three of the things that are really needed there. And of course, money, if you give me some cash, I'll go shopping and I'll get what they need and drop it off. We have a board of directors meeting right after the meeting today. Everyone is welcome to come at any time. So please be there, especially again, the board members. Gala committee meeting on, where am I? What date is that? I forgot to put, October 13th. October 13th, noon to 1 o'clock, please, at the Hudson Community Foundation Boardroom at 49 Main Street. No food, please. And you're going to review the 2023 gala, select a date, location, beneficiaries. So if you're on that committee, please be there. It's an important meeting. On October 18th, there's a foundation board of directors meeting immediately following our general meeting. May I make another plea for some AV help? Noah's going to be gone the next 4 weeks. So we are in desperate need of what would be ideal would be for a few people to just get basically trained on it. We're not going to ask you to do anything too fancy, but if you could just know how to facilitate the morning meeting somewhat. And if we had a few people who could step up and learn how to do it, then we could just spell each other off, because Noah may have another few dates during the year when he is not going to be available. And we want to make sure that we are able to run the meetings on the Zoom and everything and get it taped for the web or for the YouTube site and everything. So if you can or think that you're willing to, again, just basic functioning of it, see me please, and we'll have a day where we'll have some training on that. Okay, for now, we're going to have Jim Lang's going to talk to us at the end of the meeting about the Red Kettle campaign coming up. So we'll save that for later. So for now, I will be happy to hand this over to Mr. Adams.
Good morning, Rotarians. So this morning, we have an important presentation about the upcoming school levy. And so we have Dana Addis, the superintendent of Hudson City Schools, to present and discuss with us this important issue. It's interesting, the emails I've received about today's presentation. This is not intended to be a political presentation. It's not a Republican issue. It's not a Democratic issue. It's certainly an issue that I can tell from Rotarians we strongly believe in our children and our schools and our community. So on that basis, I'm very pleased to invite Dana to speak to us this morning.
Morning. How we doing today? I just grabbed a cup of coffee. It's really good coffee. So if you need it, make sure that it's out there. I'm really happy to be joined by Philip Budo, who's our treasurer of our district. And Philip followed Catherine at Hudson City Schools, an award-winning treasurer's department, taking great care of your money. And I'm so glad to be here for a number of reasons. First of all, good cup of coffee. Also talked to John, who was able to see my favorite band in the world, U2, out in Vegas this weekend at the brand new Sphere Theater. If you've not explored it at all, you need to take a look at it. And I'm going out there in November, so I'm excited. And obviously to see all of you. And John hit the nail right on the head. When you're talking about operating money with constituents and stakeholders, it's about one thing, and that's kids. We have conversations, districts have conversations with their community members about buildings, and those are bond levies. They have conversations about fixing roofs and making sure HVAC systems work. Those are permanent improvement. In Ohio, operation spending is about kids. And so you see Knox up there, you see Vinny up there. Everything that we're going to talk about today is about our kids. And I want you to remember that. And also, I'm glad John mentioned it. The only thing we are legally allowed to do as a school district is to present facts. So I'm here for that. And then Philip and I would love to answer any questions. You ready to go? All right. Are we just doing thumbs up to click? Awesome. All right. So student experience, and I've been here before, so blessed to be here when our service learning kids were here. Can you raise your hand if you remember the service learning kids being here? So they presented Monday night at our board meeting, coming off what's called a first serve. And our kids went to Akron North High School. We've developed a great relationship with Akron North. And one of our students that night talked about the experience of jumping into this relationship with two Akron North students. And one of our other students there talked about the same thing. And she met a girl from Nepal, and all of a sudden they were doing a dance together. And the young man said he had no idea what it was going to be like to go into the inner city, meet kids, and have this experience. And he said, I met a lifelong friend. Like, he was the nicest human I've ever met. And so he was just talking to the board and talking to our community that night about what it was like to have this service learning. And they painted, they did all kinds of things, but developed relationships. Those are student experiences that we support at Hudson. And there were words like, and if you've ever been in business in your life, you know the buzzwords right now that they want for our kids coming out are things like punctuality and collaboration and soft skills. It's a huge word in our industry right now. And we had two of our students who were there to talk about the soft skills of that day and service learning. And I shared with the board that night, that service learning group, we have 66 kids in it this year. Last year, had they been paid, they would have made over $700,000 as a group of seniors. That's what they contributed to the society. We at Hudson, because of our support from our community, are able to offer things like service learning and New Dimensions and H2BE and these courses that take the foundation of, reading, writing, and arithmetic, and they add to it so that our kids are getting. So student support services and additional SRO, staff salaries. I know you met Marty and you met Jamie and you met Gina. These are people who come to work every day to grow our kids. And if you knew where our kids were going to college or what industry they were entering or that they're entering the armed forces network, we are doing that. This is an elite school district in so many ways, not just academic. All right, thumbs up. All right, high quality and award-winning student experience. I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of the things that are happening this year. It's not on this slide, but we were so blessed to know we have 15 national merit scholars this year. It's a really high number. Thank you. One in the booth right there. So we have 8 that are national merit semifinalists and 7 who are commended. So just all of these things. Our high school PI score, our district PI score is the 19th highest out of all of the 5-star districts in the entire state of Ohio. And there are 607 districts and we're top 20. Like, there are so many good things that are going on in our school district right now. The media isn't always a friend. So that's why I come and tell you all of these amazing things. All right. First time since May 2011. This is my 5th school district. I'm coming from a school district as a superintendent where we basically worked with our community. And I want you to remember this with these discussions. This is all about kids, but it's adult conversation. Adults talk about this on behalf of kids. And we had conversations every year with our community. We would do things like a 1.1 mil. So we basically could pay our bills the next year. And they're in a better place right now because we made a slight adjustment to that. For a school district to not have conversations with their communities for their community for 12 years about operating money is unheard of. That says a lot about this school district. It says a lot about our families in Hudson. It says a lot about the community support. 12 years is a lifetime in between operating levies. And here's what's crucial. And I don't have the website up today, our levy website. But I know there's been a lot of conversation about the new valuations that are coming out next year and the evaluations that are current right now. Please know and tell everyone you know, this is the biggest fact of this levy. This levy is based on the 2022 current values, okay? And if this levy passes in November, that amount that comes to the school district will never grow by 1 penny. We won't have these new valuations coming in the spring and it impacts this levy. It will not impact it. We will get money as a district from this levy and we will get that same amount every single year for as long as that levy exists. We passed a 4.9 in May of 2011 and it gave the district a chunk of money. That amount is the same amount today, that levy. And we've made that work for 12 years. Okay, I've talked a little bit about our why. This is about our kids, about our teachers, about gas and utility bills and student opportunities. Student opportunities, that's our why. And now a little bit just about our short story that I think is pretty interesting. All right. You see Nikki Culberson, that's one of our kindergarten teachers. I don't know if you've ever been blessed to be in a kindergarten classroom. And I don't know if you think about what that's like for an adult to be surrounded by 25 of these little beautiful babies. I'm telling you what, these people work. I was a high school English teacher. I could do group work, or maybe they had a test or they were working on a project together. No, when you are a kindergarten teacher, you go the second those kids get off the bus, and then when they get on the bus, then you breathe, and not until then. So this is Nikki. She's amazing in our classroom, and you see all of our amazing kids. So this is a little bit about our short story. So people talk to Philip quite a bit about total millage and how much money a community is contributing to a school district. We know, I've talked with so many people being here for a couple of years, how blessed we are to be a part of Hudson. It's an incredible community. And I can say that because I've only been here for 2 years. I've been in other places. This is an amazing place for kids to go to school, to live, to have what we have. So here is our burden, our tax burden. There are 19 peer districts that we think our people take a look at it. Here are the top 10 in terms of tax burden. You see Bay Village there at the top with 47 mills. And you see Hudson right in the middle. That's our tax rate. And this is from the Ohio Department of Taxation. So total 38.8 mills. The purpose of this is to just tell our people where we are with our peer districts. And so out of the top 10 districts, we're smack dab in the middle of that at 38.8 mills. All right, people ask us this all of the time, spending per pupil. And I have a number of things to say about this. We think that this is important for people to see, to understand how wisely we are spending our money. First of all, to take 4.9 mils, which is actually calculating at about 3.5 12 years later. Here's our spending per pupil. We're at about $15,000 per pupil. And you can see Solon, which does amazing things. And I want you to know this. We have these schools on a chart. These are our friends. We work with these people. So I don't put this up here so that you say how much money Solon is spending per pupil. I'm just showing you where we are. So you see the average out of these 19 comparison districts is right down here at $14,469. So we're $600. Sorry for the math, Philip. $600 above average. And that's important to remember when I show you where we are in another category. So school districts, wherever I've been, no one can really afford careless spending. You know that Ohio schools have not been funded. It's been unconstitutional since 1997. We have to figure this out. Unfortunately, that's usually on the backs of local taxpayers and the conversations that we're having. But there we are, $15,087. You see our friends at Copley are just below us. So somewhere in the middle there and pretty close to average. All right, this is my favorite because, you know, I know Kelly is someone who's in our financial group that we meet once a month, and we bring in some great finance minds, and they work with Philip and give us some thoughts and advice. They have asked us to talk about value and bang for your buck. That's the most important thing to me, is if we are going to spend this much per pupil, and if we are going to have conversations with our community about a levy, is it paying off? All right, and this chart shows this. This is value, okay? So the red line is what's called a performance index score, okay? I'm gonna be really superintendent-ish right now. The performance index score is one measurement for students. I'm sure you've heard of the Ohio testing, like we're tested in subjects grades 3 through 12 in core areas. The performance index is the measure of every single student in your school district. Every student, no matter their ability. To me, it's the fairest way to say these are how our kids are doing on a standardized test, okay? Ohio also has tests that are out there. All of these tests have a level that a student must reach in order to be proficient, okay? This isn't that. So some of our kids who are at a particular ability level, and God love them, they may never reach a particular level. So we get dinged for not being like proficient. Which I think is totally unfair, because you could have a kid who is maxing out on their score, but it's not going to be according to what the state says is advanced. But for that child, they're doing the absolute best they can do. PI measures the absolute best for our kids. It's 105.1. This is our 2023 number. It's our highest number in 10 years. So I have someone every once in a while who talks to me about academics declining. I want you to know they're not. We just had our highest performance index score in 10 years at 105.1. It's a great number, okay? 19th best out of the 5-star districts in the entire state. So the red line is what's that? Okay, red line is the spending, and you see the blue lines with the PI score. So what this is telling you in a bang for your buck is, I've already said we're 19th best, but this is top 3% in Ohio too, these scores. So what you're seeing as a community member is the money that we are getting is paying off for our students on this particular assessment. So we feel great about this chart. There is a spending and performance category on the Ohio State report card that details this as well, if you have any interest. This chart just proves to us our kids are doing well with the funding that our community is providing. All right. This is perhaps my favorite. This is from OSBA, because people will ask me, or maybe they'll hear about other communities. Please take a good look at this chart. Okay. So down here, it was all of us. I was going to jump, but that could be embarrassing. So we are down here at 4.9. These are the levies passed since May 2010. We've had one at 4.9. And so if you look at all of the other, and you know all of these places, we have our great neighbors in Aurora, it's an amazing school district. Our friends at Revere, Solon, which accomplishes so much, all of these, but I want you to look at the conversations, the same conversations they've had with their communities. Bay Village has had 3 levies in the same time period, totaling 20 mills. Olmsted Falls has had 2 levies totaling 17 mills. Solon, 3 levies in the same time period at a total of 16.2. And Hudson City is here at 4.9 in this same time period. So when we share with people the fact that we feel blessed to not have these operating money conversations with our community for 12 years, this demonstrates that fact. So these districts, school boards, admin teams, support groups have had to go to their community 2 or 3 times and have these conversations while we've 4.9. All right, and here is our state report card. Overall rating, the highest you can get in the state is 5 stars. We're 5 stars. I want to talk about one because maybe you saw it in the news and the governor's all over it. And when that happens, Columbus starts to think they know what they're talking about when they don't necessarily know, but they're getting some heat, and that is early literacy. The early literacy scores, which is language acquisition of our youngest learners, was a super hot topic last year. National news, Ohio news, we were a 4-star district last year, which still says significant evidence that the district exceeded student growth expectations. Significant that we exceeded, but man, did we take some heat for being a 4-star district. It was a tough spring, but we got to work. And I shared with the board a couple of meetings ago, this is what school districts do. No one goes around and says, we are perfect. This is year 33 for me. Every single year, something happens where, okay, we got to pay attention to that. We got to get to work. And we are so thankful that we got to work and worked with our teachers, worked with our kids, made some adjustments, and we got our early literacy score up to 5 stars. Really happy about that. That's what districts do. They don't get mad about things. They don't get upset. They get to work. So we're happy for that. The progress one is our only 4-star. It's still significant evidence that the district exceeded growth expectations. Progress is a really tough one to explain. But we'll get to work on that one as well. Oh, this is the first year Ohio has had overall 5 stars. We're so pleased to be one of those districts. And proud of our kids, proud of our teachers. I mean, I'm blessed to go to 5 buildings during the day. These are the most incredible people that are leading our kids. All right, so here's in conclusion, with the tax burden very comparable to surrounding and comparison districts and a comparatively lower investment of tax millage over the last 12 years, Hudson City Schools still has achieved top regional district performance while maintaining an average spending per pupil. That's really our 30-second story when it comes to this operating levy. All right, Jennifer Reese and Angie Baroni-Haight, they lead our communications department, and they have worked so hard on our levy. Again, it's facts only. We hope that you'll go there. We have a frequently asked questions site that Philip has spent about, I don't know, most of your life working on. So we hope that any question that any of our residents have, you will find on the frequently asked questions. You'll see them, they're grouped into categories. You click in it and there's the answer. So helpful. If it's not on there, you can click into the email and ask us the question. My favorite thing is the levy calculator. Have you guys talked about the levy calculator here at all? All right. So if you go into that website, there is a levy calculator that allows every resident to click into it, type in their residence address, and it will tell you the cost of this 5.5 mil levy. Okay. And again, that's on the 2022 values. All right. Is that site live if you click into it? Yes. Oh, maybe. Oh, get off that picture. But there's some of our amazing kids. No, go back to you can go back to it. I was joking about the picture. All right, so scroll down to operating levy and click, you got to click into the white. All right, now go over to the left, see that levy calculator? This is a great tool. So this is all you have to do. All right, there's a little disclaimer, and we're not going to plug in an address, but keep going in. James is going to do his. Yeah, $20 a meeting. All right. So the estimated monthly cost of proposed 5.5 mil operating is $79 per month. So James is just letting you know how much his house is worth and how much the levy is going to cost. Okay. And you need to know if you went through all of these homes, you'd see so many different numbers. You know, there are some homes that are 79. There are some homes that are a little more. There are some homes that are, you know, $20 increase per month. We're all over the place. I'm giving James the microphone. I might not get it back.
So, so anyway, my evaluation, you see I don't have my glasses, but like how much was that? 493. So anyway, it's up 31%. So next year will be that plus 31%. But what I'm paying on this levy will stay at $79.23, even with that increase.
Yeah, and another topic related to that are the valuations that are coming out next spring, unrelated to this levy. And we want to talk about that subject too at the appropriate time. All right, let's go back. I think that is our last screen, but let's check. Any more, or is that it? We're good? That's it. All right. I hope that those are facts that you can sink in, share with people who are considering this decision. But Philip and I also, I'm a former English teacher and basketball coach, so I don't mind talking. I'm sorry that I did all of this, Philip. He came and sat in the front row as a presenter, but how about any questions that you might have for Philip or me? Yes, sir. We're really steady right now. I think that there were some thoughts. Ohio schools over the last 10 years in general have lost about 200,000 students. We have not. We're primarily the same as we were 10 years ago. We are down to about, I think this year's graduating class is just shy of 400. I think we're going to get closer to 360, 370, and then stay there for a while. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, it was, what's the projected enrollment? And we're in a really steady place. We're not, I know Hudson has had some really big classes, but we've gotten to a point, last year we were 402. We see maybe 360, 370 for the foreseeable future. I don't know if we have a number for that. The question is, how many students in Hudson are attending school elsewhere? And then with the voucher system, that potentially impacting the finances of our school district. Do we have a number? Yeah, that's a really challenging number, John. Yeah. Well, I would say that when what is the estimation of how long the 5.5 mil would go? It is there were really two important topics that we considered is John's question, how long will a 5.5 mil last? And when does the board choose to put it onto the ballot? Those were two big questions. Every district will shoot for a 3 to 5 year period. That's what happened in 2011, and it lasted 12. I would say as Philip and I look at the forecast, I'm probably going to answer and then run in case he gets mad. But I think that we're seeing us and our students being in a good place through 2029, right around that area. Hopefully he's not mad. And so we think we'll start there, but then many other factors contribute to it that could bump this. We knew we wanted a fair number for people. We didn't need to tell people we're going to put a number out there that's going to last us 15 years, but we didn't want a number where we had to come back to you next year. We think that that's unfair. We think 5.5 has been a number traditionally that this tax base has favored. It's been a good number in the past with elections. We hope that they see it as a fair number. We think that it is. He needs to talk.
Just very well said though, Dana. We methodically worked through the district forecast. We plugged in several different scenarios at several different levels. So, you know, we just didn't throw a dart and come up with 5.5 mils. It was very objectively determined. And we also considered the subjective factors. You know, what is the community used to? What will the community accept? You know, so those were, but we started with what does the district need to move forward another few years? And we also, just keep in mind, we knew that this increase in values was coming. We had an idea. We know how much, okay, but this increase in values in 23, we had an idea that that was coming. So that's been figured in to all of this, okay? So keep that in mind as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Here, you can use this mic.
Oh, okay, thank you. Okay. Okay. Hey, I'm in a ward where, well, Hudson has a significant amount of seniors, and I'm in a ward where we do have a large amount of seniors who are voting bloc and do have concerns about the levy. Do you plan to address this issue, like with seniors in particular, to allay some of their concerns?
Yeah, we're everywhere, actually at 12 or 13 places this year. I visited Laurel Lake and presented some facts to them, and we're happy to go in. We want to get out. I have another presentation today and another one Friday, and we're through October. So if there's any place you would want us to go, we would love to be there.
Okay.
Okay.
So with
I'm going to give you a mic.
oh, my mouth's big enough.
No. They can't hear it on.
So my question is, with the fact that when the pandemic hit, the cost of everything went up.
Yeah.
Salaries for teachers necessarily did not. So I know do you have a projection, because inflation still keeps going up and we're going on the wrong direction of cost of everything? So when you guys figure out your levy on how long you think this is going to last, are you figuring that inflation rate out in order to keep the teachers properly paid so you don't lose your educators?
Yeah, we think keeping the teachers that we have in Hudson, first of all, having gone through the hiring process, I will tell you it's extensive and challenging, but our kids deserve it and all of you deserve it. I'll let Philip talk about those calculations. The answer to your question is yes, we do put a percentage in there that includes personnel costs. I would imagine in prior districts that percent is 2. I don't know what Philip has put in.
That's exactly correct. And so in our district forecast projections, we project through what we have in our bargaining agreements now, so we have a bargaining agreement. It's through the end of next year. And so that's figured into our district forecast. But then going beyond that, we never just put zero. We figure at least 2%. And there have been many years where 2% was the cost of living increase that staff did get. So that's figured into our projections.
I also want to share this. We're a big corporation. We're a big business. We have 700 employees and 4,700 students. It takes a lot of money. We're at a $72 million budget. All right. So the new valuations, people have seen the increase in percentage. I want you to know that the total amount of the new valuations next spring that are coming to the school district would pay about 1/6 of our monthly bills. Like, some people are thinking these new evaluations are going to allow the district to have so much money. That's not the case. We wouldn't get through 1 month with the total amount of money that we're getting with the new valuations. Okay, that's an important thing to remember. And those new valuations, again, $72 million business. So you can kind of figure out what we spend per month. The amount that we're going to get from the new evaluations, the projected amount, is already in Philip's forecast. So if you look at the forecast, we're not going to add next year to the forecast, already in there.
Yep.
Last
So-
question.
So this is sort of, I know the answer to this question, but so I can't remember the House bill that freezes voted levies.
920.
920. So this is why any voted levy doesn't go up. So it's a two-part question. The first part is, I'm pretty sure that the state did not freeze costs.
They
Free.
did not.
Okay. So, and then this is, I'm going to put John Adams on the spot a little bit, but I'm pretty sure, because he's got a great financial background. I'm pretty sure that from the Fed's point of view, what's considered no inflation is about 2% per year. So John, I just want to pass that by you. Is that correct? So it's not 0 per year. If it's 2%, that's considered really no inflation. So over the 12 years, if it was 2% a year, that's at least 24%, but even more because it compounds. So even at no inflation, we know inflation has been up, it's been down, but normally all the costs would be at least 24% higher than the last time a levy was passed. But the revenues from the levies are frozen. So my understanding is that that would be a reason why.
Yeah, it's why school districts have these conversations. They work with their communities, they pass a levy, an established amount occurs, and that line stays flat. And you're above spending at some point, but as the costs go up, you reach this point where with projections, you have these conversations, and it's been 12 years. So now's the time. I love coming here. I appreciate all of you for giving us the time to come in and have a conversation. We want you to feel really comfortable about calling us or emailing us with any questions. And we hope that we've presented some good facts today. Hope you have a great day. Thank you. Thank you.
I want to thank Dana and Phil for a very informative presentation. This is obviously an important issue for. Appreciate you guys taking the time to educate us and all those watching this today. All right, I'm going to turn this back over to Terry.
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much, Dana and Phil. I really like that calculator on the website. Love that. Being an old accountant, I love anything that calculates numbers for you. So I'll be home plugging in numbers, plugging in addresses. Okay, we're going to turn the meeting over for a few minutes to Jim Lang on Zoom. He's going to talk to us about the Red Kettle campaign and our ability to help volunteer for this. It's a pleasure to do so. The Salvation Army is a really good cause. And so what he's going to do is explain the whole process, and we're going to hopefully get some volunteers to do that up at the Acme. So Jim, take it away.
Hey, thank you. Do you hear me? Am I unmuted? I hope so.
Yes, we can hear you.
Great. Hey, Noah, do you have that Word document that I sent over that you can pull up? And while he's doing that, about a year ago, Bill Woodridge came to me and said there's a need in Hudson for a service unit for an extension of the Salvation Army to help people in need with respect to utilities, respect to food, in northern Summit County, which is Hudson, Macedonia, and Twinsburg. And that was about a year ago. It took us until like January to get started on it. And what we find out, the budget that is used for those purposes is all derived from the Red Kettle campaign. And the Red Kettle campaign in Hudson, primarily Acme, there'll be a lot more this year because of a proclamation by the mayor that there'll be December 3rd is going to be like Red Kettle Day in Hudson. And I think that's like right same day as Santa on the Green, I think. Anyways, but the Acme is the primary use in the past. And that is where we get all of our money. And it all stays in Hudson. Everything that is collected in Hudson stays in Hudson for the purposes of this service unit. And I don't know if, I guess you don't have it there. So let me pull it up here. This is the like an explanation, and I think we can circulate this, Terry. I sent this to Terry. It basically tells you the kind of money that is used, and what has happened in the past is they've had to hire people at $12 an hour to ring bells. And the idea is to avoid those expenses, so the budget and the monies that are collected are a lot more earmarked for art expenses. So there's two things that are needed: volunteers for ringing bells, and the other is if you can drive the kettles from Akron to Acme and then back, and that is something that at the bottom of here you have to do that sort of separately because they have to vet you. But for the most part, I think 5 years ago I did this with respect to service learning. And I'm thinking that this is a possibility that we can also do it with service learning and hopefully fill a week of bell ringing. And the bell ringing schedule is usually set up. It starts from 10 and it goes through 6 in 2-hour increments. You can change, or you can stay there all day if you want, but it's like 4 shifts a day. And I'm hoping that, we could get 20 between the 1 week, 20 Rotarians and or service learning to do this together. So I actually just arbitrarily picked a week starting November 11th, and I'll put together a sign-up sheet and get that in your hand. I'm out the rest of this month, but I'll get that to Terry or someone to sign up, and maybe have someone contact service learning and see if we could coordinate this together. So that's it in a nutshell. I think it's pretty easy. You've seen it all around, and I think a lot of you have probably volunteered on one of these occasions or not. So I guess if there's any questions, feel free to get a mic, and because I can't hear you without that mic.
Anybody have any questions? Okay, thanks, Jim.
Hey, thank you for the time. I appreciate it, and it's a good cause, believe me.
Yeah, I'm thinking this could be a good time to spend a little extra time with your grandkids. Ask them to
Right.
come with you and ring the bell for a little while, right?
I've done it.
And then
I've done
maybe
it
take them to
before.
lunch.
I've done it
What?
before. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yes,
So I will be able to do the one more meeting next Wednesday for the Zoom. However, I then go out of town the next day. And so I will not be able to. So if we can get, I would like to get at least 2 people, ideally 4, that maybe we can meet. I could show you how this works. And then if you could come to the meeting next Wednesday and just actually observe it and be involved in it. Particularly if you have more than one person, then one might remember some piece of it, someone, right? So it works much better. And if you have sort of a base of, as you said, a few people who know how to do this, then it really makes it a lot easier. So if we can get that, then we can make an arrangement to meet here, go over it, and then show you next week.
Okay, that would be great. So anybody who would be willing to help, please see me or give me a call or shoot me an email. Otherwise, I'm going to have to start tapping on shoulders. And you don't want to get your shoulder tapped on. So just volunteer. Okay, so next week we'll have a sign up sheet for the Red Kettle campaign. Well, I'll get something together and we'll send it around and let's fill those spots. Okay. Phil, would you do me the pleasure of pulling the raffle ticket for us today, please? We have a $11 and we have a jackpot of $176.
Okay, the winning ticket today is 924298. There he is.
All right, we're getting down there. There's the chances are getting better here. There you go. But not a. Thanks, Ron. Okay. Thank you. Okay. All right. Thanks, Ron. He's donated his winnings back to the food bank. All right. So sure.
I just want to thank Kelly and Ron personally. They're both members of the Financial Advisory Committee that works with that works with the district. And that group is very, very helpful in helping to steer some of our decision making. So thank you both very much.
Thank you. Thanks, Phil. Okay. Keep in mind also, I just feel the need to say, let's keep our Israeli friends in mind and pray for them. Okay. Have a good week.